everybody, welcome back to my channel. Welcome to this video. If this is your first time here, you are so welcome here. Thank you so much for watching. And if you are a returning subscriber, thank you so much for being here again today. I am Iris Sirianni and I am a self-love coach. And in this video, I'm going to be going over 5 signs that you might be caught up in some people-pleasing patterns and the things that you can do to start healing them. So let's talk about that. So if you find yourself resonating with some of these people-pleasing patterns, try not to beat yourself up, because so many people have been taught from a very young age to be people pleasers. So know, number one, that you're not alone, and know, number two, that it is learned behavior, which means that number three, you can learn different patterns of behavior and you can learn how to heal this. And that's exactly what we're talking about today. So pattern number one: difficulty saying no even when it inconveniences you. So if this is you, know that number one, you have been trained to take care of the needs of others, which means that your automatic response is going to be yes. But you also know there's that feeling within you that it just doesn't sit right with you. Yet, if you were to say no, you have a belief that you are being selfish, and many times you don't want somebody else to feel bad or have to experience any pain or discomfort or experience any type of hardship, which would inevitably empower them and help them feel stronger within themselves. Saying no doesn't always mean that it's inconvenient for you. Saying no could simply mean that it's not something that you want to do, and that's perfectly okay. You don't have to respond. You don't have to do all of the things that people are asking of you. Just because it's inconvenient, it's okay that it's something that you just don't want to do. But I know that the guilt sets in. So how do you start to heal and to change this pattern? People pleasers have what I call a react response. So their first reaction to a request is automatically to answer with a yes, which means you don't take a pause to consider the request before you respond. It's an automatic response, and maybe you're kind of feeling the pattern here. So to counter this is to practice taking a pause before you respond, rather than just automatically reacting with a yes. So that part takes a little bit of practice. So what do you do when you're taking that breath and taking a pause? Well, you're going to, first of all, contemplate, is this something that I can do in terms of availability, and in terms of, is this something that I know how to do? Can I help with this? And am I available to do it? So do I have the skills to do this? And do I have the availability to do this? And the second thing is this something that I want to do? Now, of course, if your response to both of those is yes, I have the skills and I have the time, and yes, I want to do it, then absolutely the answer is going to be yes. And now you are in your power and you are consciously choosing to do the thing, which is great. But what happens if the answer is no to one or both of those things? How are you going to handle that? This is your healing part. And through this healing part, you come to understand that you are not responsible for everybody else's happiness and well-being and their own healing. You are responsible for your own healing, your own happiness, and your own well-being, and that what you want and what you need matters more than making somebody else happy. So as you're going through that healing process and coming to terms with, yeah, you matter as well, you learn to take that pause. So what do you do when you're in that pause state and the answer to both of those is no? Well, here are some things that you can say. Let me get back to you on that. Or I'll let you know closer to the date. You can acknowledge the offer or the invitation and just say, unfortunately, that's not going to work for me. And sometimes, and what works most often, is you can say, I don't feel up to it. And you might get some pushback on that one, but this is where you really need to remind yourself that it is okay to say no. It is okay if other people feel disappointment and they might pout and they might carry on, but it's okay. They will get over it. And often what I find is that when you learn to be empowered with a conscious choice of, yes, I want to do that, or no, that's not going to work for me, you will find that you are being taken advantage of less and less. And that's what happens with people pleasing patterns, is that we find ourselves being taken advantage of. So being able to practice this pause, to contemplate, to be empowered to make a choice. Yes, I want to do this. No, this doesn't work for me. And it takes practice and it takes some healing to really feel within yourself that you matter, and it's okay to let other people be responsible for their own healing, their own happiness, their own well-being. Pattern number 2, this constant worry about what other people will think of you. When I think about this one, the question that comes to mind is, how can you be authentically and truly yourself if you're worried about what other people think of you? And the other day I was having a conversation with somebody, and they were concerned about how their partner's parents are viewing them and treating them as a result of their perception of him. And I said to him, really, it doesn't matter what they think of you. They see you through their own lens, based on their own life experiences and their own projected perspectives. So what they think of you and how they see you has nothing to do with you. It has everything to do with that other person, with them. So I really encourage you to take some time and think about, why does it matter so much what other people think of you? Because you can't change how they see you. They're either going to see you in a good way or they're going to see you in a not good way. And either way, it's okay. What's really important is that you be authentically yourself. Go out there and be yourself and do the things that make you happy, that make you come alive. Who cares what other people think of you? What matters most is what you think of you. You don't need the validation from other people that you are kind, considerate, beautiful, a good person. You don't need that external validation. Find that within yourself. See that within yourself. Be powerful within yourself. Like who you are. And that is the most important thing. Like who you are, be yourself. You're a good person. You are a kind person. You are a compassionate person. If you are on my channel and you are watching my videos, you are learning to love yourself and be empowered and be authentically true to yourself. So you are already on a healing journey along with everybody else in this community. Pattern number 3 is putting the needs of others before your own. And with this one here, it kind of goes a little bit hand in hand with the difficulty in being able to say no. But since you're already working on this, this is kind of like an extension of where in your life did you learn that what you need doesn't matter? And we learn this. We learn this from a young age. So when did you learn that? And you can ask yourself, is this true? Do I really not matter? Do my needs not matter as well as the needs of somebody else? And it also comes back to putting the needs of others before our own is being seen as being selfish. But everybody knows, and the airline uses it all the time. You take care, you put the oxygen mask on yourself before you can help anybody else. You need to fill yourself up. Your needs have to be met. You need to meet your own needs to the best of your ability before you can continue giving to everybody else. It's kind of a backwards thing that we've learned. We have learned to take care of everybody else, give so much of ourselves without taking time to fill up our own cup. And people are becoming so exhausted and so depleted and so overwhelmed and riddled with anxiety and stress. And that's because we are not taking care of ourselves properly. And taking care of ourselves properly means that we are working towards being our best selves, feeling our best selves. And sometimes that means taking a step back from everything that's going on in your life to take care of your needs, take care of your spiritual needs. Are you taking time to do some type of a meditation or a walk in nature or a walk by the ocean, taking a step back but from so much mental stimulation, from social media, from all of the influence, all of the information that is constantly coming at us, all of the new information that's coming at us? Are you taking care of your spiritual health to calm your nervous system, just to calm and relax? Are you remembering to take care of your physical body, your health? Are you going for walks? Are you exercising? What are you doing to help your physical body? When we exercise our bodies and move our bodies, you don't have to be a gym rat. You can go and just do an easy walk. Go to a yoga class. That'll hit the spiritual and it'll also hit the physical. It makes us feel good when we get blood moving through our bodies. We feel good, and then we want to eat better because our bodies are feeling better. Those two pieces are really, really important. Are you taking time to do things that you enjoy doing? What hobbies do you have? And I understand that many of us are so busy that there's no space for our own hobbies. But where in your day or your week can you incorporate something that you enjoy doing? A lot of times we think, oh, there's no time. There's no time to do that thing that I like to do. There's no time to paint. There's no time to create anything. But I would challenge that, because think of all the time that you spend watching TikToks or watching YouTube videos. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you are finding it helpful. But if you look at where you spend your time on social media or binge watching a show, nothing wrong with binge watching shows. There's a time and a place for all of it. But if there's no time for you to do the crafts that make you happy, whether it's creating music or doing macrame or doing pottery or painting, whatever it happens to be that's your thing, learning tarot cards or learning something new. If you say you don't have time for that, where can you carve out time that is not helping you in creating something new? We are creative beings, so we need to be creating, and when we do that, it makes us feel good. And that's comes back to taking care of our own needs, and everybody else is responsible for taking care of their own needs, taking care of their health, their happiness, their well-being. You are not responsible for everybody else's well-being. You matter too. Fill up your cup so that you can give from the overflow. You cannot give and take care of other people from an empty cup. It leads to burnout, stress, overwhelm, anxiety, and all kind of mental health issues. Pattern number 4, excessive apologizing. People who are in the habit of having these people-pleasing patterns, what they're really looking for is for harmony in their relationships and in their environment. And when it comes to excessive apologizing, what this pattern does is it is assuming that you are responsible for everything that is going on in your relationships and in your environment, as a way to create harmony and create a peaceful environment where everybody is happy. Because people pleasers, as I've mentioned in the other 3 patterns, people pleasers take on or feel responsible or don't want other people to feel pain or discomfort or have to experience hardship. They're looking to have that balance of peace and harmony. But the excessive apologizing, I know several young women who are always apologizing. Oh, sorry, I shouldn't have said that. Oh, sorry, I bumped into you. Or sorry, oh, I should have gotten that for you. There's a constant state of apology, which diminishes you. It takes away your personal power. It takes away from you being your best self. You are not responsible for everybody else's shortcomings, faults, insecurities, fears. You're not responsible for creating harmony for everybody else, so everybody else can be happy. There's no amount of people pleasing that is going to make anybody happy long term. And most importantly, it's going to make you unhappy long term. So how do you heal from this? The first thing that you can do is take some time to reflect on why you apologize and notice any patterns. So do you find yourself apologizing at work? Do you find yourself apologizing for other people's behaviors? Where do you find that you apologize the most? And then take some time to also reflect on, is this just a habit? Do you have some underlying fear that is perpetuating this need to apologize, reflection is a really powerful thing because it gives you an opportunity to then challenge why you do what you do. A lot of times we have a fear about something that there's no validity to that fear, but we don't have the awareness of it until we take time to reflect on it. So, can you reflect on if you find yourself having a tendency to over apologize for everything and everyone? What is the driving force? What are the patterns that are there? Who are you surrounding yourself with where you find yourself being overly apologetic for things that you don't need to apologize for? And that's the other thing. You don't need to apologize for everything. You've done nothing wrong. The other thing that you can do is start working on your self esteem and your self worth and your self value. You don't need external validation that you are worthy or that you are a good person or that you are good enough. Sometimes we can get into a habit of apologizing for things that we don't need to apologize for because we want people to like us. People will like us for exactly who we are. And if people don't like who we are, then they're not our people. So start focusing on building your self confidence, building your self esteem, building your self worth, and try and catch yourself when you're about to apologize and maybe step back and don't apologize and see what happens. And the last one that I want to talk about is the pattern of lack of boundaries. And lack of boundaries, or boundaries in general, if you have never been taught how to have boundaries, it is very difficult for you to have boundaries. And the thing about boundaries is that boundaries are not to keep people out. Boundaries are to protect yourself, to protect your energy, to protect your personal space, to protect your overall well-being. Boundaries are all encompassing, and people who have not learned boundaries also often don't respect other people's boundaries, and they'll push up against other people's boundaries. So again, boundaries are something that can be learned. Boundaries are very, very healthy things, and they are a very important part of our relationships. And again, it comes back to looking at yourself and understanding what it is you want, what it is that you need, building up your self esteem and your self confidence, learning the skills and tools to express yourself and not to avoid conflict when conflict arises. And I didn't talk about avoiding conflict, but quite often that is another pattern that is present with people pleasing patterns, is people don't want to engage in conflict, and yet conflict is very much a part of our life and very much a part of all of our relationships, because we are all so different and we all have different ideas and different points of view and different lenses that we see life experiences through. So it's inevitable that we are going to bump up against some type of conflict in our relationship. So learning how to have good boundaries, learning to express yourself, learning good communication skills is so important, not only in conflict resolution or coming to a point where you agree to disagree and then respectfully moving on from there. So where in your life do you need to have a boundary? What is it that you need to express to somebody? Where is somebody crossing over your boundary? And what do you need to say to them in order for yourself to be heard? So for me, boundaries very much interweaves with how we deal with conflict. So hope that you have found these 5 patterns of people pleasing helpful. Maybe you've seen yourself in some of these. I used to be all of these, and some of these things I am still continually working on. And the more you practice them, the easier things become in your life, and the more empowered and confident you feel in yourself. If you like this video, click that like button, subscribe to my channel. If you like this video, share it with anybody else who you feel might benefit from watching it. And until the next video, take good care.